Duke beat NC State. I hinted at it. Manny Diaz and the Duke defense finally made CJ Bailey look like a freshman quarterback. And credit to Duke's defense and Manny Diaz for making him look that way. The first two series, a safety and a fumble. That's going to rattle a young guy. Duke only turned it into a 5-0 lead. Obviously, the two being from the safety. Then they got a field goal off the fumble. But the damage was done. The rattling had taken place. If you get a young guy rattled, it rattles everybody around him. Everybody looks to the quarterback for like, what's our vibe today? And as soon as you rattle the quarterback, even a little bit, everybody else, they follow suit. Manny Diaz, the head coach of Duke, talked about their defense getting the job done.
Really, the big key was eliminating explosive plays. They were able to drive the ball, and then we just came up and just made red zone stop after red zone stop, made them kick field goals. I think 4 times down there, 4 field goals. And those are the fine margins, in a game like this. So they really, again, until the 4th down one where we cut a guy loose, they really never got us on an explosive play. So great effort tonight, made the plays, made big turnovers. The turnover, Terry Moore set us up with a short field for the touchdown there. Just massive plays all night, and it felt like it was a different guy at all times stepping up.
It was the 5th drive of the game for NC State early in the second quarter when NC State for the first time ran the 4th play of a drive. Up until then, it was either safeties or turnovers, less than 3 plays or 3 and out. That is exactly what the Duke defense needed to do. And then from that point forward, right, the Duke offense had the writing on the wall. Right? All right, they're a little rattled. If we just play mostly big mistake-free football, we'll be there to win it at the end. That's what they did. Right? The Jordan Moore of it all is he's a pretty good wide receiver, and you can lean on him to make a big play if you need it. But in that game, the writing was already on the wall. We just have to be veteran, is what Duke was thinking. Again, Manny Diaz speaking to the media, this time about his quarterback, Malik Murphy, finding a way.
We needed it because they made it very, very difficult for us to run the football. I mean, they were bringing people from everywhere, crowding our box, and then playing a lot of tight man coverage. And so we had to – you needed someone of Malik's caliber of accuracy to make the plays that we did. And so, like again, in a game where everything was tough, and it was going to take a high level of execution to move the football tonight. I thought he came through and gave us a chance and a rushing touchdown. It was created a lot of joy in our locker room to celebrate that.
The surprise from everyone involved when Malik Murphy pulled the handoff and ran for a touchdown was noticeable.
Oh yeah, it's like, wait a second, that guy doesn't do that.
Offensive linemen were like big goofy smiles because it's like, hey, you got one. Broadcast crew was like, oh, whoa. It was obviously a good changeup down there on the goal line, and then the lack of turnovers really helped. NC State's offense was rattled. Just by the time CJ Bailey, and I give CJ Bailey credit for this as a freshman quarterback who made his share of mistakes early, he did kind of drag himself around and start playing better later, but by that point, the pass catchers weren't ready to help him. Right? You start to throw the ball. They had one series that was dropped by your best wide receiver, Casey Concepcion, dropped by your best wide receiver, Casey Concepcion. Then you go to your tried and true wide catch radius tight end in Justin Jolie. Granted, a little bit tougher of a catch, a little bit behind him, but he not only doesn't make the catch, but he pops it up for an easy interception by the defense, and that's how those types of things snowball, right? You get the quarterback rattled or seeing ghosts early, and then by the time he's ready to turn it around, everybody else has been thrown off enough that they're not making the plays that they're used to making, and it's a never-ending cycle. And then you have State sitting there lamenting the misses early and misses late. Oh, I wish we would have, taken this off the plate of our freshman quarterback earlier. I wish we would have, not taken this chance early on. But then also wish we would have been able to focus in better. Wish we would have been able to lock in tunnel vision a bit more at the end of the game, because for all of everything I just said, it still was a 10-point loss. Right? It was still very much in play up until the last couple of possessions. Dave Doeren, head coach of State, talked about the dropped passes that some of which I just described.
When you hit a guy wide open on a slant or a square in on first down, and it's going to be 2nd and 3 and it's dropped, it's now 2nd and 10. And so those kind of plays are impactful. They are. And no different than when you have a 30-yard run and there's a holding penalty. Those are impactful plays that hurt your offense. And I thought we had gotten past that kind of stuff. We've caught the ball well all year. This hasn't been an issue. We've had really good stretch and catch plays by receivers and tight ends and backs. And so it was frustrating that it happened tonight because that hasn't been something we've done this year. I thought our guys throughout the season have really caught the football well, but that wasn't the case tonight.
It was a different situation than those games earlier. This was and I said it going into the game. I said on Friday, and go check the tapes. The tone setter for this was going to be how much the Duke defense could confuse a freshman quarterback. And then on the opposite side, it was going to be how much could NC State's defense, because they do blitz the heck out of everybody, rattle or confuse, I guess might be the better way, Malik Murphy. Malik Murphy, for the most part, didn't always play great, didn't always make every perfect throw, didn't appear confused very often.
No.
And CJ Bailey got rattled just for a half, which is not unusual for a freshman quarterback. And it's impressive that you can drag yourself out and start playing better later.
And like Dave Doeren said, like you mentioned as well, when your receivers aren't catching anything, it's like, can someone help me, please?
Like I'm finally not making the issue here.
Yeah.
Right? I'm finally seeing everything, and I need to get something going, and now you're not ready. But that's part of working with 18 to 23-year-olds.
Yep. It just happens.
It's being in right field and not getting a single ball hit your way for an entirety of a game, and then bottom 9, you have to make a sliding catch and foul ball territory. If you let your mind wander for 1 second, that's when the ball's going to come your way. Casey Concepcion, let's just call a spade. Over the last handful of games, he's not getting the forced targets that he's used to getting, especially starting about halfway through last year. State's whole goal was get the ball to Casey Concepcion. They've found success with some other guys in the last month or so, and Casey's not getting the ball a ton. Then when he had a couple opportunities yesterday, the drops popped up. Lesson learned, right? These are all young guys. Like I said, 18 to 23, it's going to happen. For Duke, they're the best football team in the state of North Carolina at the college level. Pretty darn impressive. Shout out to Manny Diaz for keeping the Mike Elko momentum at least cruise control. Maybe not revving it, but at least it's staying alive.
Keep the train moving.